Noodle is a very common food. With its variation of meal-type purpose, sometimes it is named differently, such as pasta, spaghetti, and so on. Anyhow, the origin of noodle is China, even though wheat is not originated from China. This video focuses on Chinese foods made from wheat. Archaeologists found millet fossils from more than 4,000 years barns. They believe that before consuming wheat, Chinese ate millet. Also, there are evidences suggesting that millet grew widely in Asia and had been domesticated at least in 10,000 years ago in northern China. In my previous video number D003 in this playlist, I mentioned that to introduce lion into China, the opening of the Silk Road by Emperor 156 BC to 87 BC of Han Dynasty 205 BC to 219 AD, was a must. The same case also applied for wheat. The earliest record of noodles is dated to the Eastern Han period, 25 to 220, that noodles became a prominent food after the use of stone mills. Before that, people could only steam or boil whole wheat grains which taste and flavor were not compelling for their staple food. However, Chinese archaeologists claimed that they found an archaeological evidence of a noodle store banner, believed dating back around 4,000 years. So, they believed that wheat had entered into China about 5,000 years ago. However, this statement puzzles me as when it was first planted in China, even though pottery and bronzeware were all mature, but not the stone grinding until the Warring States period, about 475 BC to 221 BC. Flour, as the main material to make noodles, was not produced yet. Now, apart from noodles, various wheat product foods are very common in China, from hard dry 咸光饼 or plain dry bread, 麻花 or deep-fried twisted donut, 烧饼 or roasted flat bread, to very thin juicy wonton skin. Chinese famous dry cakes using wheat as the main material for the outer skin are 中秋饼 or 月饼 or mooncake, and 香酥饼 or crispy cake. Mooncake generally is used to celebrate the Mid-Autumn Festival, and according to the spreading story, it was related to the establishment of the Ming Dynasty, 1368 to 1644. Even though the existence of mooncake has been recorded as early as in Song Dynasty, 960 to 1279, it was just as ordinary non-seasonal snack. To overthrow Yuan or Mongolian Dynasty, 1271 to 1368, Zhu Yuanzhang, 1328 to 1398, gathered forces on the Mid-Autumn Festival. To avoid the court suspicion, his military advisor, Liu Bowen, 1311 to 1375, came up with hidden rebellion coordination messages inside mooncakes and then distributed those cakes to the rebels in various places. On the day of the Mid-Autumn Festival, the forces responded in unison. Finally, Zhu Yuanzhang established Ming Dynasty on a Mid-Autumn Festival in some years later, so he rewarded his ministers with mooncakes. 香酥饼 is a kind of mini mooncake with crispy skin. 香酥饼 is also very famous in Indonesia as Jogja originated specialties, named bapia. I have mentioned it in my video about gudeg Jogja. Please refer to the mentioned video. Thank you. There are plenty of food varieties that come with this sort of wheat-made thin juicy skin. The internationally well-known one, of course, is dumpling or wonton. Some write its Chinese letters as 云吞, and some others write it as 馄饨. In Indonesia, locally we called it as pangsit, and local people write its Chinese words as 云吞 or 馄饨. Almost no one knows if pangsit is Minnan dialect and has its own Chinese characters, 扁食. Due to vast region of China, different locals carry different naming and details, even though they are roughly the same, such as Sichuan calls wonton as 抄手. Wonton kinds with further different from 馄饨 are 饺子 and 锅贴. Their skins are comparably thicker, and their fillings are quite different too. While
饺子
is still boiled one, except noted otherwise,
锅贴
is stir-fried one. Also one of most people's favorite is
烧麦
It is a kind of cup from thin juicy wheat skin filled with solid minced meat that comes with different sizes and topping varieties. Spring roll also uses wheat-made skin, wrapping shredded carrot, bean sprouts and other vegetables in relatively long cylindrical shape. And
Semarang,
the capital of Central Java Province,
Indonesia,
originated spring roll filled with bamboo shoots cooked with shrimps and eggs that becomes a legendary food in
Indonesia.
The deep-fried option is offered as a variation, and is more preferable by consumers. During my university life in Taiwan,
蛋饼
was my almost everyday breakfast. It is dough, fried and layered with scrambled eggs. Other than
蛋饼
breakfast with
馒头
or plain steam bun were also very common. We could stuff it with fried eggs or meat, etc. A legend says that when
诸葛亮
181 to 234 of the Three Kingdom period, 220 to 280, led his army to cross a river in defending against the invasion of lower civilized tribes. Suddenly there were dark clouds and strong winds preventing the army from continuing to advance. A local old man told him to offer sacrifices of 49 human heads. Instead of sacrificing his troops, he ordered to make human head-shaped buns filled with minced cattle meat as the sacrifices.
诸葛亮
Then named this sacrifice as
馒头
or head of barbarian. As centuries have passed, with the same pinyin pronunciation and tones, the Chinese letters
馒头
had transformed into
馒头
Some centuries later, from
馒头
people develop further
包子
or
包馅
or stuffed steamed buns. Smaller size stuffed steamed buns innovated by Hong Kong restaurants for dessert are called
小笼包
or mini delicacy stuffed steamed buns. All the above products are solid inside. Now let's talk about the famous
炸油条
or just
油条
or deep-fried dough sticks. This has many different names for different regions, such as
果子油炸鬼油馍
and still many more. It is a kind of long and hollow crunchy fried dough, and it has a history meaning behind it. The lead general,
岳飞
1103 to 1142, of Song dynasty fiercely defeated Mongolian troops. The minister,
秦桧
1091 to 1155, of Song dynasty took bribe and killed
岳飞
According to legend, a man was deeply angry to
秦桧
so he made deep-fried dough cakes with the appearances of
秦桧
couple. He called it as frying,
桧
and it quickly spread out. As the order of frying
桧
became more and more busy, the shape of frying
桧
was then simplified as today. So, this
炸油条
has implied meanings of slick, slippery, dishonest, untruthful inside, and so on. When I was a kid in
Semarang,
the stalls selling
炸油条
had to sell
咸光饼
and
麻花
as well. In addition, they also sold another product that I never saw outside
Indonesia, bolang-baling.
It was deep-fried wheat bread with hollow fluffy inside, in the shape of a block, with a light brown crust on the outside and sprinkled with sugar and or sesame seeds. These stalls used to be in one culinary complex with many others, including the
Semarang
original spring roll. Now,
bolang-baling
comes with various shapes and sizes, sold together with
炸油条
They are still very popular throughout
Indonesia.
This video has no means to discuss all kinds of Chinese wheat product foods as they are endless in varieties. So now I just conclude this video at this point. And, thank you for watching.